Hey everyone, I'm Emily Gottschalk, and I first want to thank you for listening in today. I know you've already learned a lot of important skills for business communication in this course so far, but there's at least one more to add in, and that's how to successfully do online presentations. So companies that have different locations throughout the United States or even internationally already have software they use where employees are able to have video conferences and give presentations virtually. Some of you might already have a summer internship or job lined up, and some of you might still be in the process or have other summer plans. But no matter when you are entering the workforce, giving a presentation digitally will most likely be something you will have to do in any business-related career. Whether you have an important call with your team, a presentation for your boss, a call with a partner, or anything else, it is critical that you know proper tactics for presenting online. So today I want to note a few important things in order to ensure your success with online presentations. The first one seems so simple, but it's how to get started. So if you're the one setting up the call and the online presentation, be on the line at least 5 minutes early. That way, others can go ahead and join, and you will be able to start as close to the starting time as possible. That being said, though, if people do join the line before the actual starting time of the meeting, they may initiate some small talk conversation about their weeks or something relevant to them. My recommendation with that is if the meeting will be small and people are early to the call, let that conversation happen or spark up some conversation yourself if they don't already, just to get everyone comfortable. Then, once everyone has joined the line, wrap up the conversation and dive into the meeting. So you might say, hey guys, let's continue this conversation in just a little, but for now, let's dive into today's agenda. However, if it is a call with a larger crowd, I would say over 10 or 15, they definitely will be harder to round up and to stop that small talk conversation if they're having it when people join. So maybe periodically say, hey everyone, thanks for joining today. We're going to wait a few minutes to let everyone join in before we start. That way, you're not necessarily initiating small talk conversation, but you're saying something so people aren't sitting there in awkward silence and not sure what's going on. So going off of this, another important thing to know is how to transition during an online presentation, how to ease awkwardness, and how to engage the audience when you're speaking. So if you have the software available and if people are willing, I would suggest that everyone joining the call allow their video to be on so that everyone can be seen during the call. By doing this will hopefully ensure that everyone is paying attention to what is being said because most likely if they're on the call, the information you're saying and what you're presenting applies to them. So if you're finished presenting and you want feedback or you want to open up for discussion, say that. And if you have a crowd that is eager and has a lot to say, this may not be a problem for you, but sometimes you will be the only one speaking and no one will help you out. In order to not experience this, once you are finished talking and are ready for others to speak, maybe say, that concludes my presentation for this meeting, but I'd like to talk about X, Y, and Z if maybe Susie or Adam could follow up and speak on that. By specifically naming someone, although they may be uncomfortable, it makes the conversation continue and it is less awkward than having no one speak at all. So you're forcing someone to step out in front of the crowd and respond to you and say something. And even if they don't have a lot to say, it makes everyone else feel more comfortable because at least someone else has spoken. So that's important because you don't want to get off a call and feel like you did all of the talking and you gained nothing while everyone else either just listened to you, they ignored you, or they were overwhelmed with the amount of information. So you want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And sometimes people need a little push to talk, but what they have to say normally is important and valuable to you as well. So a third component of online presentations is knowing when to include an associated slide deck. So you don't want a slide deck when it's just going to be a written version of what you are already saying. Because if it is, then people will be more focused on reading the screen and not paying attention to what you're saying and the further detail you're most likely providing. However, if the meeting will be long and if there will be multiple speakers, I do recommend at least having one slide with an itinerary for the meeting so everyone knows what to expect, what time different people will be speaking, and they can prepare accordingly. But if no slides are necessary after that, then you can easily just turn off the screen or project a blank slide so that people aren't looking at the screen anymore. However, sometimes slides will be important when you're presenting the financials for a project or a company. If you have graphs to show, if you have a calendar, that's definitely a time when you would want to have a slide so that people can actually look at that because it's easier for people to understand that more often than not when it's presented visually and not just spoken. So the last tip I have is probably the most simple, but honestly the most forgotten, and that's to be aware of your background and your actions. So something I know that's hard, but don't eat while you're on a call, or don't have a conversation with someone else while you're on a call with others. So you may have the ability to mute yourself, but people can still see you if you're eating, if you're not paying attention, if you're doing something else. So just be mindful of that, and also be mindful that the typing on your keyboard is definitely heard. So make sure you're muted, or that you're just not doing that if you're on a call with someone else. Beyond that, try to make sure the background is not super distracting, and try to make sure you're not in front of a lot of light. So you want people to be looking at you and not your messy office or your overexposed face. So you may not find yourself ever giving an online presentation, but more than likely you will. And if so, these are some of the most important things to remember in order to be successful communicating online. The easiest way to practice and prepare for online presentations is going to photo booth on your computer, like me, right now, recording yourself, and then seeing what sticks out to you and what you can fix. Good luck, guys. Thanks for watching.